Okay, hello. This is a quick and fast run for launching your installation of ROS2. Just only that, and also running an example node for just test the functionality. So as you know, ROS is a framework for robotics. Basically, it's a middleware where people collaborate. There is a community, and the way that ROS in terms of the software uh, acts is via base a computational graph. We will talk about that later when we will be launching our first node. And also for making or doing ROS programs, we will have a workspace. Inside the workspace, we will be launching all our packages or installing or compiling all the packages doing our application. So the first thing is to, in example, if you have a machine that is uh, on your domain and you want to run ROS, you can do it using our Docker. In this way, you can only uh, trust on the visualization that you have on your computer. In my case, I'm using a virtual machine. Practically, I like more virtual machines in the first test because it gives me more functionalities. It's like having another thing, another machine inside your machine. You know that. So the first thing is to download Ubuntu. So you go to Ubuntu, you can download the ISO image, and after you download the ISO image, you set up the virtual machine. You have to source at first time here, use an ISO image here, start configuring all the peripherals, sorry, and processors. In my case, I administrate over 8 GB memory for processors and hard disk of 250 gigabytes. When you install and start the virtual machine, I recommend you to install Visual Studio Code. Here is the information on how to install the Visual Studio Code. Also, you have to download the Debian package. This is the information of the Debian package to install. Nothing more of that. Another thing to install is Terminator. Terminator. It's a cool terminal, so you can launch something horizontally, vertically. So here you see you have 3 terminals here in the same terminal. It's pretty cool. Well, next thing, you have to install ROS. For installing ROS, I will be using the humble version. So you got to the installation on Ubuntu using Debian and follow the guides. Set up the locale, the sources, on the repository universe, the keys here. And the very important part is here. You have to install the ROS Humble Desktop if you want. We want it because we will be using um, very visual tools like RQT, RVs, when we be doing visualization, the point cloud, or using Movie. So it's a very good practice to install this on desktop and on the end devices. We actually don't need more information. For example, probably if your device has constrained space, you will be using the base only because you only want to communicate to the base station, in this case the PC or the desktop. And finally, you have to install the DevTools to start using ROS. Next thing, last but not least, you have to source the environment. For example, I source it in on the bash RC. And in the end, I put to source humble on my terminal. So each time I open my terminal, so ROS is sourced. So ROS2, you will see that there is the information of the command window. Now, for testing the application of ROS, you can run ROS to run. There are some demos inside demo node cpp, Docker, ROS to run demo nodes cpp listener, sorry, listener. Listener. Okay. You will see here that the ROS is installed and it's running because you have a publishing node and a receiver node. So, okay. So the next thing is how do we set up as workspace. I usually do a setup using ROS2 workspace. And for here is a common practice to have a source folder. So the first thing on any kind of folder that you are on your machine, you put make dir -p ROS2 workspace source, and this create the folders recursively. After that, you have to let's create our first package. Okay, make dir cd source ROS2 workspace source. Okay, here I create a package named ROS2 example. And the way I created it is using ROS2 package. ROS2 package create build type amend cmake, and the name of the package. In this case, if you want to create the package I have here, I put ROS2 sample and press enter, and it will create the structure. So the structure created is this one without the C++ file. This C++ file is the example of the listener or the publishing node. If you want to see it, you can go to the ROS documentation and check for the publishing node. Let me see if I can get ROS2 to share node C++. Okay. This one. So inside of the C++ file is this file. There's no more than that. Okay, let's see. Let's have a view only. Sudo nano. Okay, here is there's no modification, no more about that. I will not be explaining this right now, but practically it just publish a message every 500 milliseconds using a callback. Okay, If you try to compile your program and run the node, it will not work. Why? Because you have to make some modifications. The modifications that you have to do if you are just using RCL CPP and other things are minimal. For example, on package XML, you have to put these things after creating the package and obviously your C++ code. So let's see. Here, the only thing you have to do is to add those lines, these ones are serial CPP and standard message, and do a small modification on the CMake list, this one. You have to try to install the, the files on the install library when you create the node. So if you see on CMake list, okay, this is the project name, the default standard C++ version that we are using. This is not important. Here is the important one. You have to put to find the package rclcpp. Obviously, if you are sending something, we are using the standard message, and we have to add an executable that will be our node, obviously. So this node is inside the source folder, and it's called ROS2 node CPP. And we have to put an alias. This is the alias that we are putting. Let's change the alias. First node. Here, first node. Because we have to amend the dependencies over the node and other package that we're using. And finally, the targets are written here, first node. And close everything here, and it will work. The next thing to do is to build the packages, and you have to go to the source. Always go to the source of your ROS2 workspace and put called con build. You can also select the package you want to build, or not. If you put con build, we'll build all the package. But if we want to build one package or a few packages, package select, and the name of it was to example. If everything goes okay, it will finish successfully. Compiling successfully, it doesn't mean that the program will work. So you have to solve other issues when you are working with ROS, like segmentation fault because you address a memory that is not present, or bugs about your code. Then you have to source on the install the setup bash file, and now we can run the node ROS2 run. How scale the folder ROS2 example, How scale the node? I don't remember the node name, so let's see. Sorry. Yeah. First node. First node. Okay. And it will start to printing something. If you want to now view visually how is the computational graph, you can use a tool called RQT. So you have RQT, Rust on Run, RQT graph, RQT graph. It is a pretty common use tool of for viewing the nodes topics and all other processes and other things. So if we want to check, for example, the how is interacting the publisher with the subscriber, let's see of the previous example of the C++ listener. Okay. Obviously, because there is probably a topic that is not, we can check here, but if you want to subscribe to the topic, you have to make it on the same topic. And I don't know how it's called the topic here. Probably it has another name. But and that's the let's test. Let's do the final test with the demo publisher and listener to see the interaction between the nodes and also the computational graph. So we will run the demo talker and the demo listener, and we will see that here is the computational graph. So we have a node that is the talker subscribing to a topic named chatter, and and a listener subscribing to a topic named chatter. So this is the publisher and this is the subscriber. So that's the main operation of ROS. You have to understand everything that is involved here. Right now, not because we are just installing something, but you have to be very clear on services, actions, publisher, subscriber, how interact with the interface using RVs, RQT, and other things. This is the minimal example of how to install ROS and keep up and running. Now the next part will be making some small applications just to understand the main issues or the main concept of ROS. So I hope you understand that. It's pretty difficult to explain something from the bare bones for a beginner because I'm not usually involved to explain something from the scratch, but I will do my best and make some videos.